Business Hub
with Outsource IT Solutions, making the cloud work for your business.
James, welcome back to the show. How's things?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, it's all good. Good to be back.
Yeah, busy start to the new year.
Yeah, very much so. Yes, we've had people coming back from the Christmas break ready to start the fresh year and looking at the options.
Yeah, good stuff. So we're going to jump straight in once again. I mean, your specialist subject really is around the area of cloud. So we want to talk about that some more this week. And also some of the ways that businesses can benefit from that, certainly in times, slightly more challenging times. I mean, there's been some really terrible news over the break. We've had a lot of flooding. Actually, we've had flooding locally, but we've seen it in Scotland. We've seen it, throughout Dorset area as well. There's been some terrible things happening there. And this is an area that your sort of IT infrastructure can actually save businesses.
Yeah, very much so. So, I mean, the cloud services are perfect in this kind of environment. So anything from sort of the hosted desktop through to the hosted telephony, it just provides so much flexibility. So if you can't get into the office, you can literally work from anywhere.
Yeah. So let's just strip the model apart to kick us off. So if you are a traditionally IT'd business, I'm not sure if that's a correct sentence, but you know what I mean.
That's good.
And let's say you get hit by something like a flood. So your room where all your servers are, or your computers, maybe even a little office, but it's been completely flooded. You're completely offline, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the kind of situation where the statistics show that there's so many businesses that don't come back from that. They lose so much data and the server infrastructure that it's just too much of a struggle to get back up and running.
So it's actually a completely business-ending event.
Yeah, quite.
That's quite depressing, isn't it?
It is a bit. So that traditional model is literally that the PCs, the servers, for whatever reason, might get damaged. It could be fire, it could be water damage. There's other sort of disaster-related things as well that could stop you getting into the office. But in those kind of situations where we have got that kind of damage, you're looking at days worth of work just to get the parts in, set up so that people can come back in and look at the data.
So if you had a street, and we've seen pictures of this over the break, of high streets submerged, and let's say you've got two businesses next to each other, what would the main differences be in terms of infrastructure for a company that was running on a traditional basis? Let's say next door they were using a system, the likes of the cloud system that you would put in. What would be the major differences there then?
The cloud is so flexible and it's built into it. So the traditional kind of setup, like we've just said, if they had that damage, it could be days before they could have a computer system up and running again. The guys next door with a cloud setup, if they couldn't get into their office, well, okay, you send your employees off, you send them to work from home, or you can maybe get some temporary office accommodation, a couple of computers, home laptops, whatever's available. You can connect back to the hosted services and be up and running, well, as quick as you can get the equipment, really. As
a normal day, yeah. So, but because you'd physically still lose the equipment that you had in the office, obviously. Yeah. But what you're saying is actually it's more of an access thing than, being a physical thing.
Yeah, very much so. It's just a case of accessing the service, which I think we've said before on the last interview that, we can do that now through the tablets that everyone seems to have, the laptops, whether that's a personal laptop or a work laptop.
Yeah.
And even these little small, like low-powered, like dumb terminals is what they were called, but these low-powered PCs, any of them, you can access it straight away.
Yeah, and they act as just kind of a portal to your cloud. That's really all they are. They're just a front-end keyboard and that's it. Really.
Yeah, exactly that. So all the hard work and all of the software, all of the data, the documents, the files, the business software, it's all held securely on the servers.
So the computer side of it, that makes a lot of sense to me. I get that. How does the phone side work then?
It depends on your setup as well. We'll put that in there. But effectively, we can host a telephone system. So we can have that set up within our own systems, or we use a couple of contract companies as well. But essentially, you can redirect your existing number into the system and be up and running quite quickly with soft phones on the laptops, applications on your mobile phones, or even other physical voice over IP telephones, which many businesses seem to have now.
Yeah, I've heard of the VoIP thing. I have to say this, and this is why we need people like you, James, because this is totally beyond me. I can't understand, because you physically still need a line, don't you? Do you still need a line?
The VoIP basically runs over the internet.
So you don't need a line?
You don't need a BT line for your voice calls anyway. So you set yourself up, you set up your business with an internet line, any internet line really. You're looking, depending on how many phone calls, how many people are going to be using it, you want a half decent connection as you increase your users.
Can I ask you more stupid questions while you're going, because I get a lot of them. Right. So let's take the flooding analogy again, right? Your computer systems are safe, even though you've lost the equipment, but you can still access everything. Your phones, however, you still need to be able to receive incoming calls to try and make it business as usual. Yeah. But your router and your phone line that you have going into the business is submerged and broken. Are you in trouble?
No. Essentially, so we can set up a hosted system, and your office number we can get basically redirected back into our system, and you connect to our hosted system from anywhere.
Right. So the phone system is also, we need to think of this in terms of being also in the cloud, basically.
Yeah.
So don't think about your BT box and your plugs and everything else. It's literally in the cloud as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think this is where we're at, honestly, in terms of business. I think, because genuinely, I like to think of myself as reasonably IT savvy, but there are just certain things that I just can't initially get my head around. And so therefore, I wouldn't necessarily be exploring them.
No. And there's so many technologies that I don't think hit mainstream, so people don't even start to look at them. And that's the point, really, isn't it? That guys like Outsource IT, we know the technology's there. You tell us what you want, and we'll basically find and tell you the solutions and that will work.
Yeah, and I suppose the point is that people need to get to that point, don't they? Where they're like, actually, we need a better solution than we currently have, because actually we're exposed and we're at serious risk here.
The sad thing is that, like the disaster planning and the business continuity, it's one of those that gets put on the back burner.
Yeah.
People want the day-to-day running of their office, and that seems to work, and that's fine, but they don't think about when things go wrong until they go wrong. And quite a few times they've got to rely then on the quality of their backups and what's currently in place, and potentially fumble about finding what they used to use in order to get back and running again. So if we can be proactive, and I think this is the thing now, is we've seen, like you said, in the last few months, how it does impact people, and it is here in the UK now quite a lot with the flooding, so especially the last few years. That it's more in the forefront of our minds now, and we've got to start thinking about it proactively, because it can affect anyone.
Agreed. And when you're talking about transferring a whole business over, I know this is a crazy question because it depends on the size of the business, but I mean, how painful is it to make this change? If all of a sudden we were to say, right, the whole thing's going cloud, is that a really painful procedure?
No. We would sit down with the guys, with the businesses, and work out what needs to come across, and work out a migration plan, and we'll make it as painless as possible. And try and sort of keep out of the way as much as possible whilst doing the work, obviously.
Does it get to a point where you literally switch over? Is that?
Yes. So a lot of it is preparing the work in the background. So users just don't know until the last minute, where we flip it over and they start using the new system completely. There's different ways and different methods of doing it that actually the existing system you can use at the same time as the new one, so that can sometimes ease the change. I don't think they're desperately bad, though. I mean, a lot of it is copying the documentation over, or the documents and the files over. I don't view it that painful.
And would there be a speed issue at all? Would it be faster or slower to be using the cloud version? Or
the performance-wise, no, I can't see there being any difference like that. The power of the servers and the internet connections down there, they're all good. It's built for that purpose. So, it's got to be reliable. It's got to be quick. And the connections have got to be good as well. Is
it something you can stage? I mean, do you have to have the whole thing done at once, or can you do it bit by bit?
No, we can do it bit by bit. So if you only wanted half a dozen users, there is a way to do that, and then sort of pull more users across into it until the whole company is. There's also like a hybrid cloud. So you keep some of your stuff in-house, which is what you're used to, and you're used to having that control. And then also we'll set up the cloud system so that remote access is available. So there's so many possibilities to it. It really is a matter of fact of sitting down and finding out what businesses want, how comfortable they feel with different things, showing them what can be done, and working with them to get the best solution.
Agreed. And really you want to be talking to companies that are being proactive about making this kind of change and upgrade rather than wishing they had after something's happened.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
So a lot of information in there, and I think probably light bulbs going on. There has been actually for me in this conversation, certainly about the phones side of things as well, because it's such an essential part still, isn't it? I mean, I know we use the internet and we use Skype and everything else and all those other well, actually that's a VoIP system anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
But we don't necessarily think about some of the infrastructure stuff that perhaps we should be as proactive about as we need to be. So what would happen first? You'd be happy, I presume, to have a conversation with anybody that's interested to find out more, and that would be for free, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, feel free to contact me. We've got the website or the email address and telephone number there, and we'll arrange a free chat.
Yeah.
Just go over sort of the basics of what we want to get, well, what you want to get out of the systems.
Yeah.
And we'll take it from there, really.
Good stuff. And let's have the website and the email and the phone number as well, if you like. So
it's www.outsourceitsolutions.co.uk. The email is info@outsourceitsolutions.co.uk and can be reached on the phone on 01872 211 477.
Fantastic. James, pleasure to have you back in. Thanks very much for coming in and sharing the expertise. For future as well, it might be quite interesting if anybody's got any questions around, any specific things. If they want to get in touch with us, you can do that through the website at pirate2.co.uk, or of course you could get directly in touch with James at Outsource IT Solutions, and we'd be pleased to pick a few of those things apart on the show as we move forward. So
yeah, it'd be brilliant.
Thanks for coming in, James. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
The Business Hub with Outsource IT Solutions, making the cloud work for your business.